Hello, welcome to another fingernail fixer video. In this video I'm going to cover water marbling. You can kind of see those nails. The water marbling videos, there are plenty of good ones out there, and I strongly suggest that you check out other ones besides mine because this is definitely not my forte. However, I wanted to go ahead and get one made to satisfy all of the requests that I'm getting. First of all, it's important that your water is room temperature, and room temperature can mean a lot of things to different places. So a really easy universal way to figure that out is it needs to be pretty much temperatureless, like not warm, not cold. So if you hold your wrist under the tap water as it's running out and get it to the point that you can tell that it's wet but you can't really feel warm or cold, that's pretty much lukewarm or room temperature. The next thing is going to be picking a polish that is kind of opaque so that you don't have to put the white down underneath it, or if you've picked polish colors that are semi-sheer or sheer, you're going to need a base color on the nails. I'm going to be using CND Vinylux, so I do not need to apply a base coat to the nails. I can go right in with the polish. I have the polish lids open so that I can quickly and easily drip them into the water. I'm going to use a stylus, so I have that ready to go. A toothpick will work fine, any kind of just easily pointed tool. I'm going to start off, I'm actually going to use CND Performance Forms, and I'm going to place that backwards on the finger and wrap it around, just kind of protecting the back of the finger from the excess polish. And then I'm just going to pinch that together at the end so it protects some of the end of the finger, and then you can come right in and snip that off. I do apologize for the airplanes in the background. I'm stranded at a hotel due to a flight layover. So here I just have, now I'm protecting part of the end of the finger as well as protecting around the edge, and I'm just going to end up getting a little bit of polish on the sides of the skin, which isn't going to be as difficult to clean up as having to clean up quite a bit of the finger. I'm also going to go ahead and put one on my thumb. As you can see, my other nails are already done. I just left a couple to demo for you. Hopefully now that I've had 8 nails to do it on, I'm not as horrible at it as usual, so this video will actually be helpful. I'm going to pinch it together at the end of the thumb, so I'm protecting part of the skin here and part of the skin here. The thumb and finger have already had cuticle work done, as well as been cleaned off with Scrub Fresh, so they are ready to go. The next thing is going to be dripping the polish in the surface of the water. With the Vinylux, it dries so quickly, you're going to want to drip it on very, very fast. So don't dink around, as I like to say, or faff about, as they say at the UK. You can start off with either color, it doesn't matter. Just drip and alternate back and forth between the colors. And you'll start to notice that the color stops spreading after a few drips. And I usually find it's about the 4th or the 5th drip. So see how that 4th drip really didn't move around? This means my Vinylux is starting to dry. And I want to go ahead and bring some sort of design element into it. On this one, I'm just kind of pulling the outside edges in to create lots of little petal looking things in the middle. I'm going to take the finger and dip that straight in, and then use the stylus to pull the edges away so that when I bring the finger out, I just have the design on the nail. If you do not clean the edges away from the finger before you pull it out of the water, what you end up with is a blob of polish down over the nail instead of the marbled design. You want to kind of tap the hand off or the finger off so that any drips of water go off the nail. Then you want to pick up any excess out of the water. See how there's a little bit of polish on there? These plastic back pads work really nice. You can just use the one that you scrub fresh the nails with. Just stick it in there, give it a turnaround, and it picks up all the excess polish. And you can use this same pad for the rest of the nails. So it's not a huge waste. You can just keep reusing the same one. And I'm gonna try and zoom into this so you can kind of see it with the better lighting that's clear down by the desk. There you go. So see how that just transferred the design to the nails. I'm gonna do it again for the thumb. You do pretty much have to redo the marble technique for each nail. On the previous nail, I think I started with blue. So on this one, I'm gonna start with Gilded Pleasure. For those of you that like to know the details, I'm using Blue Rapture and Gilded Pleasure in CND Vinylux. Naturally, you can use any color combinations that you like. These just happen to be two of my favorites. And the blue is spreading, so I'm going to go ahead and go in with another dot. And now they've stopped spreading, which tells me the Vinylux is starting to dry. So I'm just going to drag through. And when you see the edges start to come in and basically start to destroy the design, that's an indication that your edging is dry, and try not to go all the way to the outer edge of the color that's dry. And I'm kind of poking the stylus into the design when I want to start dragging. And then I'm just going to place the thumb straight in, swipe through the sides to disconnect, pull it straight out, turn it over, and you have the design. Tap so that the water will come off. I'm going to see if I can zoom into this down in the lighting so that you can see it. And see, it has that design that it picked up from the water. If you have a little bit of excess water that won't come off, you can really gently kind of touch it. Don't put any pressure on that touch. The little soft landing 4x4s are good for that because they don't leave any fuzzies behind. But again, you want to do that really, really gently. Once you've finished with that, and here I'll show you, you can reuse this. Just pop it in there, swirl it around, and it pulls the polish right out. So you can just, again, keep reusing that same one over and over. Let's put these out of the way. Keep in mind, if you're gonna do the water marbling trick with the Vinylux, that having your bottles open is gonna cause them to thicken a little bit sooner because you're allowing the air in there. So you may wanna have, you know, certain colors that you marble with, and you keep a separate set to the side so that you know that those are just from water marbling because they'll thicken from being left open. I'm gonna come in with the stylus, and let's zoom in on this down in the lighting so you can see. And I'm just going to very gently start in the center of the back and come down and around, essentially separating the design around the edges of the nail so that when I pull the form off, it's not going to pull the design off the nail. Again, really gently. Speed is definitely not your friend in this case. Just nice and slow, gentle and easy. Then you can come in and peel the form off. I guess it's helpful if I stay on camera. Was I even doing the design part on camera? Just go through and separate the design from the edges of the nail. And then peel off the form. Really gently peel the form off just in case it's still attached anywhere. And then you can see the designs left on the nail. It's kind of fun on the form too. But here's the design on the nail. You're just going to clean up around the edges and top coat. I've cut some plastic back pads in half to make it easier to clean up around the edges. So I'm gonna get a little bit of CND Nourishing Remover on this half a pad. The reason that I cut it in half is so that I have more of this straight edge. so that I can basically really carefully, and you want to make sure that you're using the tab so that you don't damage your other nails. Really carefully, I'm going to lay that down there and just kind of rock it side to side so that it picks up the excess polish and cleans it up. And I'm just going to work my way around the nail. Cleaning up the sides and the edges. And these plastic back pads work really handy to fold in half with the plastic out and clean up the underneath. Once you have everything cleaned up around the edges, you want to give it a couple minutes for the water to completely evaporate off that nail and then top coat. So then your finished designs are going to look like this or like this. Hopefully this gives you some of the basics. Go ahead and search out other videos to find some design techniques and ideas. Thanks, hope you had fun.